Hello everyone, my name is Lala and today we're going to be talking about how I have been staying productive in my spring binder. Welcome back everyone, and for those of you who are new to this channel, welcome to this channel. I really appreciate you guys subscribing, and I hope that you guys enjoy this channel for as long as you're staying here with me. I don't do this professionally, so I don't post videos every week or every day, but I try to do it every month at the very least, and I do hope that I can continue to stay in track with that. This video that I want to share with you guys, it's all about my planning system and how I have found what they call planner peace with this planning system. If there is such thing, I don't know, but it seems that a lot of planner girls have started calling it planner peace. I don't know who started calling it that, but it seems very appropriate when you're very happy with the system that you're working with, when you have found something that really works for you and keeps you motivated to continue to organize your life and plan. A little bit about this planner first. I got this planner back in 2016 and I thought it would look really nice for the springtime because the color of the planner obviously is pink, but I'm not sure. I'm looking at the camera right now and I don't think the actual color comes out. It looks like a bright pink in the camera, but it really is more like a neon pink. It's like more than bright. It's super bright. It's really eye-catching, and it's a really beautiful color, and it matches with almost all the pastel colors of springtime, which is amazing. But when I first got this planner, my inserts didn't fit in the binder because the downside to this binder is that it's a 25 millimeter rings binder, and that is something that if you're first looking for binders and you're interested in purchasing a Filofax binder, you need to look at the information of the particular binder that you're looking at, because some of their binders do have 30 millimeter rings, like the Finsbury, the Malden, and the Domino, but other binders only have 25 millimeter rings. This is the original, and this one does have 25. So back then, to make the long story short, back then my inserts didn't fit and I have given up hope on this binder. But this year I decided to give it a try and it worked. And that really made me happy because it says two things. One, I can use this planner for its intended purpose. And the other thing is that I have downsized on my inserts. And that's a really good thing. Because it only means that I don't need all that extra stuff that I had in my planner to stay organized. Actually, I think it was probably making me derail from my actual purpose, and having this kind of organization now really is working for me, and it's really everything that I need. I don't need anything else. So I will give you guys a full review on this planner, but there's other videos out there that have on YouTube that review the original planner, so you guys can go check them out. Just type in the original Filofax and you'll find plenty of reviews on this planner. It's a very nice planner. So that's one thing. The other thing that I wanted to bring out before starting on the video, on the actual content of this video. Sorry for making this introduction too long. I am known for doing that though. I wanted to bring out the point that I am now incorporating 100% crafting and planning into the binder. I'm very much into junk journaling, and that is one of the other things that I do that I bring to you guys in my channel. I do junk journal flip throughs, and I also sell those junk journals on my Etsy shop, although right now I don't have any new junk journals listed, but that will change in about 2 weeks. Anyway, so I am incorporating junk journaling into my planner, and that is why this one has all kinds of charms, and there's one here that's there. It has all kinds of charms and tabs made of ribbons and lace, and it's got things sticking out right here, because that's what I do when I do junk journals. Basically everybody does the same when they do junk journals. Junk journals are, if you're not familiar with the term, it's a kind of journal that it's mainly, I would have called the journal bohemian journal. Most of them are kind of bohemian, but the term comes from the journal being like a memory keeping that you do with junk, or with things that normally people would throw away, and instead of throwing them away, you just add them to your journal as you journal every day. So anyway, that's what I've been doing in this planner. I have combined the two, and I do have a video which I will link for you guys, that talks about that where I showcase a junk journal inside a binder. So I have fully made inserts, junk journal inserts for binders, personal size, and I will start selling them on my Etsy shop very soon. I started doing the Get Things Done system. I started liking the system, and it's a system by David Allen, but I actually haven't read the book. He wrote a book on it. I came across a video on YouTube by the lovely Brandy Michelle, and she explains the Get Things Done, or GTD system, in full detail, and I just love how she explains things. You know, she has a very natural talent for explaining things, which I don't. But she does it very well. So I'm gonna link her video below for you guys, so if you're interested in finding out in more detail about the Get Things Done system, or GTD, you can go check her video out. It starts by what David Allen calls the inbox. You have an inbox, and it's where you put anything in, ideas, tags to remember, people to contact, etc. Projects, anything that comes to your head, you dump in your inbox. Then you transfer those notes into other lists. He breaks it down in this way. It's either actionable or it isn't actionable. And if it is actionable, it goes into your action list. If it isn't, it goes into either you trash it, or it goes into a reference list, or it goes into a one day maybe. Then after that, you go into an action list that you have to make. You put everything that is actionable into your action list, and you start categorizing them into other lists. Like, for example, if it's a phone call you need to make, then you would write it down under a to contact list, or contacts list, however you want to call it. Also, if it's something that will happen at a particular time or date, then you go ahead and schedule them on your calendar. So in a nutshell, that's the actual system of the Get Things Done. But Brandy Mitchell, like I said, does explain things a lot better than I do. So I would strongly suggest you guys going to her channel and checking that out, because you'll learn more from her. As for me, the way I have done things, I don't have certain lists. Like, I don't have a reference list, and I don't have a one day maybe. I just have a future log, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how that looks in my planner. Let's go ahead. I have to put in the pen that I do use. I use two kinds of pen. I use this Coletto pen, and I have to put it outside in this binder. That's the one thing that I had to do in order to close it, because I can still close it, but you can see that it's kind of stressed in the back because it is chunky. But I still managed to put in here everything I wanted, even though it's only 25 millimeters. Okay, so I do have a future log, and I have that in the back, way in the back of my planner. This is my future log right here. I do understand that this comes from the bullet journal as well. They do a future log in the bullet journal, but mine, it's not really like a calendar. I'm just gonna make a list and then put the dates on the side, because that's all I need to know. I don't really want to see it in a calendar. I just want to know I just want to dump it in here. The whole point of the get things done process, which is why you make a list, is for you to empty your brain of everything you want to remember, and to just put it on a paper, and that way you don't have to remember anymore. You'll never forget it because it's on a paper that you're going to reference from when you do your planning, but you don't have to remember it constantly. Or when you do your planning, you don't have to go like, okay, let me remember what else I have to do. No, you have it on a piece of paper. You have it written down. So that's the whole process, and that's actually why my future log does not look like a calendar, because all I need to do is put it in here and put the dates that's going to happen, and I will obviously come back to my future log and reference my future log when I do my planning. Like I said, I only list here things that would happen or could happen at a later time in my life, and that could be as close as next month or as far as 3 years from now. It all depends on what it is. So that's what goes in here. I guess you could also use it as to list ideas that come to your head and that you're not going to implement them until later in time. But for me, the way I'm going to do it, I haven't put any ideas on my inbox, and my inbox is right here. I haven't put any ideas on my inbox. Basically, this is my inbox. What I have done with my inbox right as far as now is I've only put in here things that I need to do, like tasks and stuff, because I'm still in the process of setting up all my binders. I do use other binders. I use one for budgeting. I use one as my wallet. Those are already set up, and I use one for my Etsy. So I'm still in the process of setting those up. So this is basically just a list of things that I need to get done, appointments, or things that I need to schedule and stuff like that. I haven't put in here any ideas. I haven't had any ideas for my binders or my Etsy shop yet, so I haven't put any ideas in here. But whenever I do put an idea in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and straight make an idea list. I'm just going to do an idea list and put them in the list, because I'm going to skip the whole action and then future logging or whatever process, and I'm just going to go ahead and dump it on my idea list. And some things that's okay to do, because sometimes there are things that you automatically know where they go and how to categorize them, and you don't need to then go through the entire process. Just go ahead and skip the process and go straight to listing them under the right category, and that's completely fine. So what I do is, okay, this is what I do. Let me go back to my inbox. Okay, what I do is I dump everything in my inbox that I have remember I must do, and at a later time or the same day if I have time, at the same time, I sit down and I ask myself if it is something that I can do in less than a minute, and if it is, I get it done at that moment. I try to get it done. If it isn't, then I have to list it. So I go over to my action list, because basically all my must do or everything that's in my inbox are actionable. And like I said, if it won't happen now, like at this moment, I can just go ahead and list it under my future log. So under my action list, I have subject, and then I have category. Subject is the action, and then category is the list that it will be filed under. And if it's something that I want to go ahead and schedule right away, like for example, here on my action list, underneath this list right here, I had put down list items on my Etsy shop. Okay, and I wanted to right away schedule that task. I didn't want to put it under any list. I wanted to right away schedule that. So under category, I put weekly. So other actions are categorized under a contact list. And what this is, for example, here, Saturday call Johan, and I categorize it under contact. So most of my other actions are categorized under projects, and a project is defined as something that requires several steps in order to be completed. So I do have here a project list. This right here is my project list, which is empty right now because I really haven't done anything with my action list as much yet. I did move from here things that were categorized under future logging. I also moved things that were categorized under contact because those things are easier to transfer. I don't have to break them down. I mean, contact, the next action that comes after calling Johan is actually taking the phone and calling Johan. So it doesn't require any more actions from me. So it's going to end in contact list. And future logging will end in future logging for now. So those were easy to transfer. But something that is a project, I would have to transfer it to projects. Okay, and from here I have to break it down into what's the next action that I need to take in order to complete this project, and whatever action it is, I need to go ahead and move it to its right category, its right list. Like for example, if my project is to I want to say I want to make my garden pretty. I need to buy work on my garden. I need to buy certain pots and certain flowers or plants that I need in my garden. So I need to go ahead and buy those plants. That means that's going to be moved into a list that's going to be to buy. So you create a to buy list and you list there everything that you need to buy, tools, plants, everything that you need in order to complete this project. So that's what I mean by asking yourself, what's the next action? And breaking down a project or a task into different actions that you need to take. So if a task is only to make a phone call, you don't need to have another action for that. It's just making the phone call. So that's why to me that was easy to transfer, and also the future log. But I do need to sit down and go over my action list and list all my other projects and break them down. I do have already a list for home. I have a list for Etsy and a list for family, because say I have an upcoming baby shower, right? And I need to buy a few things for the baby shower. So it's a project that I need to break down here, and then I move it to its right category, to its right list, whatever other action I need to take on that. And then I do have a list for my son. He gets to have his own list. I need to create a list for things to buy, and I think there's another list that I was planning to create, but I forgot now. So those are things I need to work on right now. Now, I hope I was kind of clear on explaining this. I did my best, you guys. But now that you guys know more or less what this is, this is nuts. The right way? This is like this. Okay, so it's like this. So now that you guys have more or less an idea of how I'm using the get things done system, how I'm trying to make it work for me, I'm going to explain to you guys how is it that I incorporate the get things done system with like normal regular planning in a calendar. And I do monthly planning and weekly planning. And let me go ahead and first I'm not going to give you a walk through my planner because I already did a video on that, but I did wanted to show you guys how my planner looks. It's so pretty. I have set it up for April, the month of April, with the March Planner Society kit, and it looks really cute. But this video is not for that, so let's just go ahead and skip all that walkthrough, and I'm just going to tell you guys so that you understand how I have divided my planners. The first thing I have in my planners is my personal tab, and in it I just have my goals. I have my goals, I have my passwords, which I won't show you because that's kind of private. Then I have a notes section, and I have an address book in the back. My notes section, you would think, oh, isn't your notes similar to like an inbox? In my notes section, it's not really similar to an inbox. It could be if you wanted to, but in my notes section, what I really do in there is I just write down things. Like, for example, if I'm watching a video on how to make spaghetti, I was very silly example because spaghetti is very easy to make. But if I were watching a video on a particular recipe, right, I write it down in my notes. Where's my notes? Right here. I write it down in my notes section. And then from there, I transfer it to wherever. If I want to keep it, I put it on my meal planning or, whatever it is. So that's what my notes is. And obviously my goals these are my goals, and in my goals I try to keep it. Last year I tried to do a goal section, and also 2016 I did one and it didn't work for me. So this year what I did is I kept it simple. I just used it like if there were affirmations, but they're not really affirmations. They're just, I don't know, they could be affirmations. It's just like, for example, I have it broken down into personal, relationship, health, financial, and professional, and my Etsy. And under personal, I just wrote down things that I want to always, when I come here and I read it, I want to be reminded of what it is, my end goal. My end goal, as for my personal self. I want to read more, I want to craft more, I want to paint more, I want to love myself more, and I want to be happy. Those are things that I want, and that's it. That's what my end goal is, and that's how I'm been doing my goals, and it has been working that way. I don't have to break it down like I thought I would, or elaborate on them. It's just like things that I read, and it's just to remind myself of what it is that I want. Out of a particular thing. Then after my goals, I have my monthly. On my monthly, this is what my monthly looks like. And then I have a section for my son, monthly for him. He gets one section for him. Then I have my weeklies, okay. And then here I have my dailies. This is how my weekly looks like. Let me show you. So it's my week. This is like a week section for me. I do have meal plans in my weekly because I use a weekly layout for meal planning. And then after my weekly, I have my dailies. And in my dailies, I just journal. And I do have this is just my journal. See, I just journal here. I just write stuff here. In my journal, I do have a I do have my inbox in my journal, because when I'm journaling, I remember is the time in the day where I remember everything that I wanted to get done, and so I just write it in here. But as you can see, I can move this around. So if I'm planning and I remember something while I'm planning my weekly or my monthly, I can just move these over there and work from there, whatever. If I have it set up where I can just move it around if I want. And then at the end, like I show you, is my list section. So this is how I plan. This is how I do it. The last Sunday of every month, I do my monthly planning. So I come to my monthly, and I'm just going to show you an empty month so that it's not confusing. So I come to my planning, say we're going to plan for April. The first thing that I do is I schedule in my appointments and everything that is going to happen on a particular date or on a particular time. It's going to be scheduled in my monthly, and those are the most important things to get done, because they are it's an appointment. You can't really miss an appointment. You could cancel and reschedule, but those are things that need to get done right on that particular date or time. So it's going to be scheduled here. Also, I go to my list and I make sure, like under my contacts, go to my contacts list. Where is it? It's right here. I go to my contacts and I make sure that whatever is in here, that I, if I can go ahead and call somebody at that moment, that Sunday. Well, I can't really call doctors, but when I do this, when I call the doctor actually and I make the appointment, I write it down, and I might go to my future login and write it down in future login if it's going to happen at a later month, if it's going to happen at a later week, or if it's going to happen at a later month. But basically, when I do my monthly, I go to my future login, make sure nothing is happening that month. I go to my contacts just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And I go to my birthday list, which is right here. My birthday list. Make sure I got a birthday. I don't have a birthday coming up and I miss it. Okay, that's basically what I do first. And so I schedule them here. Obviously, I do schedule my son's monthly separate, because that way I can see his activities that he has for daycare. clearly, and I don't, it's not confusing to me. So they're here. So then every Sunday night, I do my weekly. Okay. So I do my weekly I do the next week, and I come to my weekly. And when I go to plan on my weekly, and let's go ahead and look at an empty week. This is my weekly. So when I come to plan on my weekly, the first thing I do is I go to my monthly. I go to my month. I go to the week, the particular week of that month, and I obviously check whatever I have to do there. Whatever I have to do, I write it down here. And basically it's going to be first appointments and events that I can't miss, or if I have to call somebody and I have scheduled it on a weekly, on a particular date, I'm going to put it on my weekly. So everything that's in my monthly for that week is going to go here first. Then after that, I go back to my list and I check all of my lists that can be things that can be scheduled on a weekly basis. I come here and I check my future logging, my contact, my everything, just to make sure I'm not forgetting anything, nothing has been missed. Also because after you do your monthly, during the weeks that come after that particular date that you sat down and you schedule your monthly, during the days to come, you could have things that are new coming into your life, and you could add things into your list. So I need to go back into my list when I do my weeklies to make sure that there's nothing new that it's not already on my monthly. All right. So after that, after I check all my list, I go here. I know it sounds like a lot of steps to take to plan just a week, but once you get the hang of it, it's not that much. It's actually, very rewarding because, like I said, I don't have to remember any of these things. They're just written down, and I just have to go reference, looking for them and reference from the list. And so I did, what this is a routine, daily routine plan. And here, this is how it works. Here, I wrote down on this daily routine, I have written down things that are going to happen that day, or that I want these things to happen on that day. If there's nothing else going on in my life, like if I don't have an appointment or if I don't have to go anywhere, these things are going to happen that day in my house. And then I'm going to go to work if it's a day that I have to go to work, which Mondays I do have to go to work. But if I have an appointment, say I have an appointment on Monday to go to the doctor. That's why after I check my monthly, and then I put down my appointments because those are important. Then I check my list, and whatever is in there that I can schedule here, I'm going to come over here and see when I have an empty slot on my day, or what things I can push around. Like I can, if I have to do, here it says clean house, right? So at 7:30, clean my house. That type of cleaning is just like the cleaning, like I do weekly. I clean my house twice, and it's just to maintain my house clean, right? But once a month I do like a deep cleaning, right? So this can be pushed back, or it can be done the next day. It doesn't have to necessarily be done on a Monday. It's put in there because that's how I have it, but I can push that back. So I can schedule something that's on my list that I need to get done. I can schedule it from 7:30 to 8:30, because that way I have an hour to do it. And that's how I do my weekly. That's how it has been working. Like I said, it might seem like a lot to do. Like you go to your monthly, then you go to your list, then you go to your routine plan. But once you have that routine when you are planning, it's just really nice because I don't have to remember anything, yet I won't forget anything. And that's the plan, that I don't forget anything. Now, if I am frank and honest, I do forget things, and I don't always stick to the plan. When you plan and when you find your planning routine, and when you find your planner piece, I guess, your planning routine, your system, if you don't stick to your system, obviously you're not going to get things done like you wish that you would, because you need to stick to the particular system that's working for you. And I don't always do that. I don't always stick to my system. For my system to work, I would have to come to my planner every night before I go to bed and every morning after I wake up. That way I am constantly in tune with my planner. I know exactly what I need to do, and I know exactly how I need to get it done. But that doesn't always happen. I don't always remember to come here. I don't always, you guys, have the desire to come into my planner every night and, you know, because that's when I do my journaling. I don't always want to come into my planner and journal. I don't always have the energy to do that. Sometimes I'm very tired. Sometimes I'm very sad and upset and I don't want to do it. Sometimes, I don't know, you know, it depends on my mood really. And that is something I have to work on. I have to be more disciplined and never mind my mood and just do things, because that's the only way I'm going to get them done. But that is something that nothing that I do here is going to make me break out of that habit but myself. I have to do that myself, you know? So that's basically it. That's basically what I do. I do have my meal plan here, my weekly, like I said before, because it's like a weekly layout. And by the way, you guys, I did all my layouts. This one, I did this layout myself as well. I did this one myself as well. I did my monthly layout as well. My son's layout. I did all my layouts. I do everything myself, and that's why it takes a little bit more time for me to complete everything, to get things done. No pun intended. It takes me a little bit more time to do things because I do everything by hand. What I mean by doing my layouts, let me just go back to one of them. What I mean by that is I drew this by hand. I obviously used a ruler, but I drew this by hand. I didn't do it on a computer program. I did it by hand, okay? And then obviously I just photocopy it and print it out, you know, as many as I needed. So that's what I did. And I try to stay crafty that way, where I'm hands-on with everything in here. So that's basically the gist of it. That's basically how I plan. And I hope that you guys can take some ideas from here and implement them in your planner. And if you want me to do videos on anything, like how I actually think, like what's my process, my thinking, you know, that's what's my artistic process when it comes to doing my layouts or thinking about a particular layout that I want to do for you know, I got to do a health tracker now. That's one thing I got to do for my planner, and I'm thinking of the right layout for my health tracker so I can do it myself. But very quickly, I have also done all my layouts for my budget binder. This is my budget binder. I did my budget tracker. I did my goals, financial goals layout. This is my spend tracker. I also did this one myself. Okay, so if you guys want me to make a video on how to do that, on how I do that, because obviously you know how to do that. Just get a rule and a pencil and make a square and just make lines. But if you want me to make a video so you can see how I do it or whatever, let me know in the comments below, or any other kind of video. And isn't my planner so pretty with all the lace and tabs and bows and charms that I have added in this planner? Very nice. I also did my tassel. If you guys like it, let me know. I do make tassels and for sale in my Etsy shop, and I do take custom orders. So you guys are welcome to my Etsy shop anytime. I have a link below, and drop me a message if you want me to make something for you that you don't see in my shop. At the moment, there's not a lot in my shop. There's not many items, but there will be items as I add them every month. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit like or subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.